Welcome back to the shop. Hot Rod here. We are working on a 2018 F-150 today. We thought we were doing front and rear brakes, but we're just doing rears. I know it's just another brake job video, but I need to teach you something important in this one, so stick around and check it out. This thing has electronic parking brakes in the rear. So let me show you. The fronts, we thought he needed fronts, but he doesn't. I took the wheels off and it ended up that he didn't. Someone had showed him that he did, but he doesn't. Anyway, the back pads are worn out. It's got some grooves in the rotor. They are also warped and pulsating. This thing has electronic parking brakes, and you have to put it in a service mode before taking these off. If you don't, and this thing was to activate while you had it off, it could cut your fingers off, it says. Ooh, I don't want my fingers cut off. I don't know about you, but I'm going to show you the procedure for activating it, or I'm going to read it to you, and I may show it to you as well. You can also do this with a scan tool, it says. I haven't hooked the scan tool up to see yet, but I popped into my all data program. Hopefully this isn't too bright. I'm going to read it to you. It says electronic parking brake, service mode activation and deactivation. So you set your ignition to the on position. You press and hold the accelerator pedal and the parking brake switch to the release downward position. Continue to hold the accelerator pedal and the electronic parking brake switch. Set the ignition to off. Then within 5 seconds, while continuing to hold the accelerator pedal and the switch, cycle the key back on. The EPB, electronic parking brake system, will be deactivated, preventing parking brake application until service has been completed and service maintenance mode has been deactivated. The yellow EPB indicator will be illuminated and the maintenance mode will display on the message center. Okay. Then when replacing the pads, in the maintenance mode, the brake caliper piston must be compressed into the caliper housing. The brake caliper piston does not have to be rotated while compressing the piston like some of calipers do. Set the ignition switch to the off, then release the accelerator and the switch, and you're good to go to replace the pads. It also showed not compressing the piston in through the sight hole like I do with a screwdriver. It says not to do it, and also says not to do it with a C-clamp, because I guess you'd be pressing on the back of that electronic motor. So you use a brake caliper tool that presses the piston back in, which I have, and I'll show you. There's several different tools you can use. And then to deactivate the system, so when you're done, you put it all back together. You set the ignition switch back to the on position. You press and hold the accelerator pedal and the EPB, electronic parking brake switch, in the apply upward position. Continue to hold the accelerator pedal and the switch to the upward position. Set the ignition to off and then back on within 5 seconds, continuing to hold the accelerator and the switch. It says the EPB system, there's a note, the EPB system will fully apply and release the parking brake to guarantee sufficient air gap between the rear brake pad and the rear disc. Release the accelerator pedal and the EPB switch and you're good to go. Okay, so that's something you can do at home with that procedure, which I'm sure you can find online, or you can watch my video. So we're gonna wait for our parts. They haven't arrived yet, but we're gonna go ahead and put this thing in maintenance mode while waiting on my rear pads and rotors to be delivered, and we'll get that step out of the way while waiting on my parts. So here's our parking brake switch. So we'll be pushing that down to deactivate while holding the accelerator pedal down. Ignition switch on. Push my switch down, accelerator to the floor. Press my switch off, back on. All right, park brake maintenance mode, okay. All right. See, we're at park brake maintenance mode. See that? I had to hold it down after I cycled the key until we get into park brake maintenance mode. And I'll turn my key off. We're still in park brake maintenance mode. And now we can jump out and do our brakes once my parts get here. We'll knock this brake job out. I'll show you how to collapse the caliper down properly, and then I'll show you how to reactivate the electronic parking brakes. All right. Okay, so parts came in. We're running new rotors and some ceramic pads. Normally, I would take a screwdriver and stick it in here and just pry this caliper back, and we've got it in service mode, as you know, but it says not to do that on these in my all data instructions. So I'm going to respect that, and we're going to go ahead and pop this caliper off, and we're going to use these tools to push the caliper piston back in so we can put the new pads on. And I believe these are where did I get these? Mac or Matco or something. You can get these in this kind of a toolkit anywhere, and this will also do manual, like a cable-driven park and brake deal with a caliper setup, a disc brake setup, not a drum. So a lot of those you have to take the piston and turn it in, and these different size adapters will go in the slot that's going to be in the piston, and it'll fit in there, and you just take your ratchet and you screw that piston in. But this one, we're just gonna use this deal, and we're gonna get going here. Okay, this thing's got a nut here. It's got a fat washer too, so I'm going to try to hold it by this washer while I break it loose. There we go. Can't quite get a wrench in there because it's too, I need a really thin wrench that I don't have in that size. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do, what was that? Water. It's always a good sign when there's water pouring out of your electrical connector of your brakes. Whatever. Just want to find something that's the same size here as the piston. Let that water drip all over a brand new rotor. It won't hurt it. We're going to spray that rotor off in a minute with some brake clean to get the packing oil off of it. But look at that. That's just a ton of water just pouring out of there. I know we've had a bunch of rain the last couple of days. It has been insane the amount of rain we've had. Tornadoes touching down in Atlanta and Douglasville, I believe, or something like that, which is about an hour from us, but still, I don't like to see that. I don't like to see destruction, anybody's property getting hurt or anybody getting hurt. So, okay. Never fails. I get to work on the dang phone, so it's dinging every 5 seconds. Alright, so we take our ratchet. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Slip off on me there. Let me get repositioned. Just kind of holding it by the motor right here to get a little leverage. It's getting windy outside. I think we're going to get some more rain today. Our grass is about 2 feet tall. I've got to get it cut. Maybe as far in as she'll go. There's different styles of caliper tools that push these pistons in. This is just the one I've got. I don't buy every tool known to man. Some guys insist on having every style, but this style works for me. I think that's it. I think that's as far as it goes. Pop our pads out. You can see these pads were just about to go metal to metal. They're really close. Hold your ears, about to give this rotor a wrap. Alright, so pad kit came with new hardware, so we're going to change out these clips. Kind of like to mock them up, make sure I'm using the right ones. They didn't send me the wrong ones. Looks like we're good to go here. All right. It doesn't give us a left and a right on these, but it gives us a up and a down, or two ups really. It gives just up. All right, it gives us up. See the arrows pointing up, so we know that this has got to be the pads we need, right? Okay, so we're gonna got our pads selected. We're gonna spray off. Our rotel. Oh, get that oil off there. You don't want to contaminate your new pads with any packing oil. Although most of the times it doesn't hurt it. You got a lot of heavy oil. You don't want it stuff on your new pads. So we got both our up pads. Shot across the shop. Caliper bolt. Our caliper bolts are running off on me. Gotta have that. Sometimes you gotta hold your mouth right. No. Alrighty. Get it positioned in place properly. Bolts back on. All right, that's it. I'll get the wheel back in on this side, or on, get the lug nuts tightened up. I'll go knock the other side out, and then I'll show you how, I'm not gonna film that side because it's too hard to film against the wall in this little shop on that side, but we'll, next time, the next step, we will be reactivating the parking brake setup, and like in the all data directions that I read you, it will activate the brakes and adjust that caliper properly with a proper air gap. Right now it's tight, it spins, but it's a little tight. The computer adjusts all that once you reinitialize that parking brake switch. procedure. So, all right, we're gonna get wrapped up on this side. I'll see you in the cab. Okay, we got the blue Ford back down on its wheels. We're gonna get in here and deactivate the service mode for these brakes, which is the basic same procedure we just did. I'm trying to set this up where y'all can see. Basic same procedure we just did to activate it. So we turn the key on, but we're going to pull up instead of push down and push the gas pedal at the same time. We're going to turn the key back off, turn it back on. I can hear it activating the brakes in the back. All right, now we're going to turn the key off. We're going to crank it up. I got the hood ajar. I don't start, press brake. We already did that. I'm going to check the brake fluid real quick. It's not telling me that the parking brake's on anymore until I hit the button. Now it's saying parking brake's on. So she should be good to go. We're going to check the brake fluid real quick. Make sure that the master cylinder is full. It should be, because we just collapsed the pistons. Good to go. Alright guys, so I'm going to go return this to the owner, which is an old customer of mine. Been coming to me for probably 15, 16 years. I've worked on all kinds of the cars for this family, Lexuses, Corvettes, pickup trucks, old Corvettes, new Corvettes, all kinds of stuff. So we appreciate that customer, and we appreciate you for watching. Hey, if you learned anything from this, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down there in that corner on the screen. Hit the bell notification to get videos right when they drop. Plenty of them to come, guys. Try to drop 2 to 3 a week. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Peace.